What if the Tower of Babel wasn't just a tale of human ambition, but a battle between mankind and the divine? A story of rebellion, power, and a curse that changed the world forever. Imagine a time when the earth was still young, its scars fresh from the great flood that had wiped away all but a chosen few. The descendants of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth had spread across the land, their numbers swelling, their voices united by a single language. But among them rose a man whose name would echo through history, a man whose ambition would shake the very foundations of heaven and earth. Nimrod. Nimrod was no ordinary man. He was a force of nature, a king whose very presence commanded fear and respect. His strength was unmatched, his will unyielding. Legends whispered of his exploits, how he had hunted beasts that no mortal dared confront, how he had tamed the wildest of lands, and how he had united tribes under his iron rule. But Nimrod was not content with earthly dominion. His eyes were fixed on the heavens, his heart consumed by a desire to challenge the divine itself. The idea came to him like a whisper in the night, a vision of a tower so vast, so towering, that it would pierce the skies. A monument to human ingenuity, a testament to mankind's defiance of the gods. Nimrod rallied the people, his voice thundering across the plains of Shinar. "Why should we scatter across the earth like leaves in the wind?" he declared. "Together we can build a city and a tower that will make our name great. We will no longer be at the mercy of the heavens. We will ascend to them ourselves." The people listened, their hearts stirred by his words. Fear of the unknown was replaced by a burning desire to achieve the impossible. They gathered in the land of Shinar, a vast plain where the soil was rich and the stones perfect for building. Bricks were baked, mortar mixed, and the foundation of the tower laid. Day by day, the structure rose higher, its shadow stretching across the land like a giant's hand reaching for the sky. But as the tower grew, so did Nimrod's pride. He saw himself not just as a king, but as a god. His advisors, men versed in ancient secrets, whispered of the Me, the sacred knowledge of the gods, and how it could be used to bend reality to his will. They spoke of rituals and incantations, of powers that could grant him dominion over the heavens themselves. Nimrod listened, his heart growing darker with each passing day. He began to see the tower not just as a monument, but as a weapon, a way to challenge the divine and claim his place among the stars. Yet, high above the plains of Shinar, the heavens watched. The Creator, who had once flooded the earth to cleanse it of corruption, saw the pride in Nimrod's heart and the arrogance of the people. They had forgotten the lessons of the flood, forgotten the power of the one who had saved them. And so, a decision was made. A decision that would change the course of history forever. One day, as the workers toiled under the scorching sun, a strange feeling began to spread among them. At first, it was subtle. A word here, a phrase there, that didn't quite make sense. But soon, the confusion grew. A man would shout an order, only to be met with blank stares. Groups that had once worked in harmony now struggled to understand one another. The once unified language of humanity had been fractured, splintered into countless tongues. Panic set in. The workers, unable to communicate, abandoned their tools and fled. The tower, once a symbol of unity, became a monument to chaos. Nimrod watched in fury as his dream crumbled before his eyes. He shouted orders, but no one could understand him. His advisors, once so confident, now cowered in fear. The people scattered, their unity shattered, their great project left unfinished. But the curse of Babel was more than just a confusion of languages. It was a reminder that no matter how high humanity builds, there are limits to its ambition. The tower, once a beacon of hope, became a symbol of hubris. Its ruins stood as a testament to the folly of defying the divine. Yet the story of Nimrod did not end with the fall of the tower. His legacy lived on, woven into the fabric of history. His name became synonymous with rebellion, his deeds immortalized in ancient texts and legends. The Epic of Gilgamesh, the tales of Tammuz, the myths of ancient Mesopotamia, all bore the mark of Nimrod's influence. Even in the secret societies of later ages, his name was whispered with reverence and fear. But what of the people who once followed him? They scattered across the earth, their languages and cultures diverging. The unity they had sought was lost, replaced by a world of diversity and division. Yet, in that division, there was also beauty. The many tongues of humanity became a tapestry of voices, each telling its own story, each adding to the richness of the human experience. And what of Nimrod himself? Some say he died in obscurity, his empire in ruins. Others believe he continued to rule, his name forgotten, but his influence enduring. There are even those who claim he achieved his goal, ascending to the heavens not through a tower, but through the dark arts he so coveted. But the truth remains shrouded in mystery, a puzzle for the ages. The Tower of Babel is more than just a story. It is a warning, a lesson, and a mystery. It reminds us of the dangers of unchecked ambition, the consequences of defying the divine, and the fragility of human unity. But it also speaks to the resilience of the human spirit, the ability to rise from failure and create something new. As we look back on the ruins of Babel, we are left with questions. What does it mean to reach for the heavens? Is it a noble pursuit or a fool's errand? And what would happen if we succeeded? The answers lie not in the past, but in the choices we make today. For in the end, the story of Babel is not just about a tower, it is about us. The echoes of Nimrod's ambition still resonate in the modern world. In our skyscrapers that scrape the clouds, in our quests to conquer space, in our relentless drive to push the boundaries of what is possible, we see reflections of that ancient dream. But we must also heed the lessons of Babel. For every step we take toward the heavens, we must remember the cost of hubris, the dangers of forgetting our place in the cosmos. And yet, there is something undeniably compelling about the human spirit, something that drives us to reach for the stars despite the risks. Perhaps it is this very tension between ambition and humility, between defiance and reverence, that defines us. Perhaps the story of Babel is not just a cautionary tale, but a call to balance. As the sun sets over the ruins of Shinar, casting long shadows across the broken stones, one can almost hear the whispers of the past, the voices of the builders, the cries of confusion, the thunder of Nimrod's rage. They linger in the air, a haunting reminder of what once was, but they are also a testament to what could be. For in the end, the story of Babel is not just about a tower that fell, but about a humanity that rose. And so, the mystery endures. What really happened on the plains of Shinar? Was it divine judgment or something more? What secrets lie buried beneath the ruins of the tower? And what might we learn from them? The answers may never be fully known, but the questions themselves are a gift. They invite us to explore, to dream, to wonder. In the end, the Tower of Babel is not just a story from the past. It is a mirror reflecting our own ambitions, our own fears, our own desires. It is a reminder that the pursuit of greatness is a double-edged sword, capable of both creation and destruction. And it is a challenge to reach for the heavens, but to do so with humility, with wisdom, and with respect for the divine. As we stand on the shoulders of those who came before us, let us remember the lessons of Babel. Let us strive for greatness, but let us also remember the cost. For in the end, the story of Babel is not just about a tower. It is about the eternal struggle between humanity and the heavens, a struggle that continues to this day. And so, the mystery remains. What will we build? What will we become? The answers lie within us, waiting to be discovered. The story of Babel is not over. It is just beginning. The Tower of Babel, a story of ambition, rebellion, and divine judgment. A story not of a tower, but of the eternal human struggle between ambition and humility, between man and the divine. The Tower of Babel is more than a tale. It is a warning, a riddle, a shadow cast upon time itself. It reminds us that ambition, unchecked, leads to ruin. That defiance of the divine carries a cost too great to bear. But it also leaves us with a question. What would happen if we tried again? And more importantly, what would happen if we succeeded? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an adventure with us.